Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. I just got home. I don't usually like doing reviews right when I get home because I've had a few drinks and I'm a little slurred, a little tired. But I got work in the morning. I don't usually go to shows during the week either. So this was an exception because tickets were cheap. New Edition. So New Edition started their residency, I think maybe about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer. Every time I've been wanting to go, look, I'm an 80s kid. Everybody who listens to this channel knows that I'm an 80s kid. And when New Edition came out, it was early 80s. It was right when MTV was taking off. They were a boy band, but, it was before boy bands were kind of defined as like cheesy or only for girls. It's when music was fun. MTV was fun. The videos were fun. They had that Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man. And it was just cool. And basically, we watched them grow up. It's kind of a really interesting story. Bobby, I guess mid to late 80s, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know if they threw out Bobby or Bobby left. I think that story is disputed. They replaced him with Johnny Gill. But what happened after that is really, Bobby, I think Bobby left right when he was starting to get really popular as a solo artist or wanted to do solo work. He had enormous success out of the gate. And then I'll talk about it a little later, what happened to Bobby with Whitney, and it's an incredible story. But, the other three guys, Biv DeVoe, went on to have a couple massive hits. I think Ralph did all right on his own. It shows, I'm not going to compare them to the Beatles, but it's a little bit like it, where these kids were so talented when they started that when they burst out of the boy band, they all had found success on their own, which is always very impressive. So to see them all come back around full circle and do this residency, I'm not sure if they toured before this residency. I kind of remember they did, but I kind of remember reading it was always a disaster with Bobby. But anyway, when they started coming here, ticket prices were crazy. Every time I looked, it was sold out, or tickets were, $300-400, which I'm not going to pay for New Edition. Even though I don't say it's worth it, it's close to being worth it. Anyway, I noticed tonight it was a Wednesday night. The tickets that for this weekend are $200-300 a ticket. They were $99, so grabbed them. Like I said, don't like going out on Wednesday night, but I like saving money more, and I'm getting tired of spending so much money on all these shows. So let's talk about the show. I'm going to go through the set list. It is titled as, a New Edition residency, but I'll be honest, I feel like they kind of blew through the New Edition songs. You're really getting 3 or 4 concerts in one. It's not just New Edition. It's a Bobby Brown concert, a Biv DeVoe concert, Ralph Tresvant, however you pronounce that name. Tresvant? I think that's how you pronounce it. Johnny Gill. They all do their own hits along with the New Edition hits. So it's a lot of bang for your buck, and it's a great show. It's a lot of fun. The energy is great. Let me go through the set list. I looked at the set list before. All the shows started with a little Jackson medley. ABC, I Want You Back, and The Love You Saved. I don't think they did that tonight. They went on at about 8:15. I think they were running late. I think they started with their own little medley of Candy Girl, Popcorn Love, Cool It Now, and Count Me Out. So that was a little confusing to me. Candy Girl, Cool It Now were really big hits, man. I'm surprised. Like, out of the gate, they put them in a medley, which I don't really understand why they did that. I think because they just wanted to get to everyone else's hits. Then they did a full version of Mr. Telephone Man, which also one of their bigger hits. That's one of the songs I wanted to hear very badly. And it was great. It was great. They look great. Look, Bobby's really interesting. Bobby has almost become the hero. I felt like the crowd, everybody was rooting for Bobby. And I was thinking about it the whole night. Like, how did he become such, like, the most beloved guy in the band? How did he become such a beloved guy? Because it's been really rocky. And then I kind of remember the story, He was so big on his own. Those hits of My Prerogative and Every Little Step, and they were so big. And then he got really popular when he got to Whitney. Even though the Whitney people blame Bobby for everything that happened to her, so he became like a little bit of a bad guy. But I think what happened was we kind of grew up with him, and we watched him become a kid, and he was like this punk little kid. Then he had his own success, and then he started dating like the queen. She was the queen, and it was like we were all kind of rooting for him, and then everything fell apart for the guy. Whitney died. His daughter died. It just became this horrible, tragic story that he just seemed like he was just cursed, or he was the root of the problem. I don't know what it is. But I don't know. I think when his daughter died, it was like everything shifted from like, God, Bobby's the bad guy to poor Bobby. And then we watched him try to make a comeback, and he was overweight, and he was, something happened that I felt the vibe was everybody was rooting for Bobby. I liked the guy, man. I feel bad. He had a hell of a road. We all kind of went down it with him together. So, I don't know. Let me get to the set list, back to the set list. But that was my take with Bobby. Every time Bobby did a solo song or every time Bobby started dancing, everybody was cheering for him. It was like we got his back. It was interesting. So Mr. Telephone Man, then they did Is This the End? Jealous Girl, You're Not My Kind of Girl. And then Bobby came out and did Don't Be Cruel. And again, he's a bigger guy. He can't dance. He makes a joke. Look, he gives it. He does it. But he can only do it for like a minute. And you could tell with the singing. Look, I'll give them all credit. They didn't lip sync anything tonight. Bobby sang, and when he couldn't sing because he was out of breath, he turned the microphone to the crowd, or he kind of laughed and like waved at the crowd like, y'all know I can't do this for 4 minutes straight. And everybody didn't care because he became this kind of lovable guy. I don't know what it is. It's really interesting. Then Johnny Gill did Rub You the Right Way, and then they did like a little medley for the Spinners that they said that inspired them. So they did I'll Be Around and Could It Be Me, I'm Falling in Love. And then they did Johnny Gill did This One's for Me and You. And then Ralph did Sensitivity, which I think was his bigger song. And then When I See You Smile Again by Biv DeVoe, but that was just Bell. Then Bobby came out and did Roni. Johnny came out and did My. So you see, like, they're doing their own stuff. They sprinkled a little bit of New Edition, but they're really highlighting their own stuff. Then they circled back and did I'm Still in Love with You and Can You Stand the Rain? And then Biv DeVoe came out and they did Do Me and they did Poison, which is Poison's such a massive song, such a great song. And to see him do it, it's so much fun. It's really, and right before Biv did it, they did a little DJ. I think I forgot who the DJ was, but they did they just got the crowd going. The crowd was going the whole time. I'll give them credit. So they did Do Me, they did Poison, then Bobby came out and did My Prerogative, and he did Every Little Step. And again, I keep saying it, but everybody was cheering on Bobby. Then they did their New Edition did If It Isn't Love, which is one of their bigger hits. And then they closed out with Earth, Wind & Fire cover with September. This was like a house party. It just felt like a house party. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was fun. Everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was dancing. It didn't matter that maybe they were out of step every now and then because they were a bunch of 50-year-old guys who were giving it everything they could, and they were having fun. You could see they were having fun. And you could see that, for me at least, I noticed a couple times one of them would be off with the choreography or maybe off with the singing, or Bobby was out of breath and he would just turn the mic to the crowd. But at the end of the day, nobody cared. It was fun. It's a fun show. I really enjoyed the show. I'd give it a 8.95 out of 10. It's expensive. So just if you live local or you're in town on a Wednesday, go see it on a Wednesday. It's almost half price. I think it's even cheaper than half price. I paid $99. I was in Orchestra 2, which again, a lot cheaper than going to see it on the weekend. Is it worth the full price, the $200-$300 ticket? If you're looking for a fun night in Vegas, yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's a lot, but it's a fun show, and you get a lot. They pack it in. Like I said, you get New Edition, Biv DeVoe, Bobby Brown. If this is your era, if this is your type of music, you're gonna be in heaven. If you're really, really into this stuff, I love this Encore Theater. Go get seats in the front, pay the money. You'll be 10 feet away from the people, 5 feet, 2 feet away from these guys that you love, and they give it everything they got. They're not young either. They look good. Bobby's a little overweight, but we all know that, but he looks good. Does he sound good? Nah. But you don't care. The other guys sound great. Everybody else sounds great, but for some reason I was fixated on Bobby. Anyway, this is getting long. I'm rambling. I'm a little drunk. If you were there, if you've seen it, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's worth the money, and subscribe, and I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.